Steven Crowder, I guess, decided to come out and um, complain about not getting a contract. Him and Blaze TV, was it, right? They parted ways for some contractual issue. I don't know the specifics of it. I watched something and I was like, okay, whatever. And that's fine. And then apparently he got a lot of offers from other conservative outlets, which makes sense. And he alluded to the Daily Wire as one of them. But he didn't outright say it. And then so there's his video complaining. I watched a little bit of this. Then there's a Daily Wire video telling him that like he misrepresented it because he was rather explicit about it being a Daily Wire offer. We're not going to watch these. I'm going to watch this rundown on it from this TikToker. I've seen before. He gives a solid breakdown on it. And then I want to see what Crowder's follow-up is, but I also want to see what Ben Shapiro has to say. Because, we really only care about what Daddy Ben has to say. So let's actually start here with this little 2-minute breakdown on like what's going on here. And then we'll get to Crowder's like, I didn't want to do this. And then let's get it going. But I think he got like a $50 million contract over 4 years that didn't include like he would have also gotten paid additionally for a bunch of other stuff too. So like I don't know what he's complaining about, but oh no, we're not starting there. He looks so creepy. Oh my lord. I must have accidentally. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, so let's start here.
The controversy breaking out between Steven Crowder and the Daily Wire is delicious. First, Crowder releases this video saying it's time to stop. He then describes how after leaving the Blaze...
Me personally, I think it's time to slop. Undertime slopper here.
...and becoming a free agent, he received a number of horribly exploitative offers from large conservative media outlets. He has dubbed these outlets Big Con. I'm already loving it. He then...
For big conservative, but also... for big con artists. I don't know if you guys picked up on that. Which Crowder was trying to say. It was a double meaning. I believe it's a double entendre.
And describes one particular contract he was offered that was so terrible that he just had to release this video. They wanted too much for too little, but the company was left nameless. Then out of the darkness emerged Ben Shapiro's company, The Daily Wire, with their own video titled...
I can't believe that Steven Crowder is trying to say that Daily Wire, a Jewish-owned business, is trying to exploit him. He's trying to push that anti-Semitism, guys.
Our offer to Steven Crowder.
They had too many restrictions on what he could say I think is the issue. Well, that's fine. But here's the thing. There's nothing wrong with Steven Crowder saying, hey, I felt like I couldn't say a lot of stuff. I couldn't be as offensive. That's fine. But that doesn't make it an exploitative contract. That just means it's a contract that he doesn't want to engage in. Right? So if somebody offers you a really fair amount of money, $50 million or something.
Silabite became a
Hey,
member.
Thank you so much for the membership, brother. If somebody offers you money to do a membership, but it comes with too many caveats. Hey, thank you so much for the medium gut. Then you can just turn down the contract and not bitch about it in public. That's all you have to do. He's complaining that if you get strikes or banned on other platforms, you don't get a certain percentage of your fee. You can withhold it to 80%. Okay, but that's the thing. Here's the thing, is that if this is true, and we're going to look more into it, that's Steven Crowder's problem. Steven Crowder is way too provocative to the point where like he's doing shit like kneeling on people's necks to see if George Floyd actually died from being kneeled on the neck, and then LOLing when he doesn't die from his friend kneeling on his fucking his neck. That's what it comes down to. All this guy had to do is turn the contracts down and just do his own thing. But instead, he wanted to go and cry on like a little fucking baby on the internet.
Steven Crowder. I say, okay.
Like, they just want him to reel it in because he's 30-something years old, still being immature.
Hey, you want to talk trash about our offer? Let's go into detail on what the offer actually was. First and most notably, the deal was a 4-year, $50 million contract. I wonder why Steven Crowder didn't mention that in his video. They wanted 192 daily episodes, which averages out to 4 shows a week with 4 weeks of vacation.
That's pretty solid.
They also wanted other stuff like promotional shoots 4 times a year and monthly exclusive content for subscribers. They also wanted him once a year to do like a stand-up special and make like a documentary sort of.
which I think was extra money.
thing, both of which they would pay for on top of the $50 million.
Yeah, look, they have a budget of $1.25 million. Wow.
For example, for the documentary, he would have a budget of roughly $1.25 million. I don't like either of these two groups, but because it's fun, I'm choosing a side. If you couldn't already tell, I've decided the Daily Wire is in the right. Mr. Crowder is overreacting. Some of you might be saying it wasn't just the money, it was the control. Because part of the contract was that if some of Crowder's content becomes demonetized, whether he loses advertisers or some platform drops him, whatever percentage of that revenue that is lost, he would lose that proportionate to the $50 million.
Okay.
So it's my understanding that, let's say Apple Podcasts was like 1% of the revenue he was generating. If they drop him and they lose that money, then he would lose 1% of whatever is left of the $50 million he hadn't already earned. Now, the reason I support this for Mr. Crowder is that
it makes sense. This is like totally reasonable. Here's a lot of money, but you have to maintain advertisement friendly, like revenue service, whatever. That's totally fair, because if they're paying him $50 million, obviously what the idea is like, we're going to give you a static amount because we believe in you, and we're going to give you this, and this, and you're going to provide us this. But they're obviously, because he's be able to use Daily Wire's platform that they've built, they're gonna they have to profit off of him more. Right, so they give him their platform, their infrastructure, budget, this, and this, and they pay him a certain amount of money, and in return, they're supposed to get a return on that investment by getting advertisement revenue. If he ends up getting them to lose money, of course, he's not going to make as much money. Now, again, he could simply turn it down, and I totally get it. If he says, I don't want to have to be advertisement palatable, because I want to say the N-word and I want to kneel on people's necks and mock the deaths of black people, that's totally fine. I respect that Steven Crowder would rather mock the death of an innocent black man, okay, than sell his soul to not do those things. I respect you, Crowder, for wanting to do brave things like mocking the death of George Floyd. Okay? And so if you want to be able to disrespect dead people, that's totally fine. Okay? But that doesn't give you the right to cry like a little bitch all over social media about everything. Oh, they only offered me $50 million plus additional revenue based on other things that I do. Oh. Just be like, yeah, I didn't like the contracts because they wanted me to like reel it in. I think that I'll just go on my own. That's pretty much it. It's a question between making more money and censoring yourself. By the way, barely censoring yourself. Just not being a complete provocative dickhead. Or making less money and just being happy with what you're doing. Just, you don't have to bitch about it like a fucking crybaby. He's literally the kid from those Starbucks kids. You know, like the fucking kid that was crying because they had to work a normal work hours. They were like, I can't. That's Steven Crowder right now. He's crying like a baby.
The reason I support this for Mr. Crowder is that he is, of course, a capitalist. He's, of course, not a socialist wanting freebies. If his content isn't making money, then why should he get a handout of money he didn't earn? Now, I, of course, am not taking this particularly seriously, but I desperately hope this situation continues to develop because it's just so much fun.
Okay, so that's the first two. Apparently, Crowder makes like this argument that he's standing up for small creators. That's ridiculous. Okay, let's watch Ben's response first because it comes first, and then we'll watch Crowder's response. My thing is that, like, what does that mean, making advantage of smaller creators? Maybe they are, but, like, fundamentally speaking, like, what's going to happen? Because I watched the first 5 seconds of this. So here. Crowder looks so proud of himself. We're not going to watch this yet, but...
They don't get deals that...
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
So that's what it's probably talking about, smaller conservative creators. And Crowder tries like, see, I got him. No, you didn't. Like, especially people on the conservative side, as well as myself. Like, I'm totally fine with the concept of, like, if you're going to engage as a small creator with a big brand like Daily Wire that's going to boost the fuck out of you, you don't have to make a lot of money until yet. Because you might be a small creator with promise that's not super, like... money, like for instance, let's say I decided to join Daily Wire, which, you know, of course, being the hyper conservative I am, I do well for myself alone, right? But if I moved over there, they have so many resources, and they might say, we're going to give you this much money, but I also get the exposure for being on Daily Wire. So it's fair for me to be a quote unquote wage slave to an extent for a little while they invest financially into me and take a loss for a little bit. This doesn't make me go, oh, see Daily Wire. No, that's just normal. Like I'm not like a far leftist that complains about everything being exploited, like exploitative. So what audience do you feel like you're signaling this to? You're not even the right brand. That's just how the world works. You know, you start off small and you grow. But let's watch Ben Shapiro.
Sure, many of you have seen well, folks, I'm sure many of you have seen the controversy that has broken out between, I would say, our former friend Steven Crowder and those of us here at the Daily Wire.
Former friend. Ben's throwing hard shade, dude.
Either this.
Yeah, like Brett Cooper. Nobody knew who they were before Daily Wire. Now people do.
This has to stop, or I'm going to have to stop.
Oh, I mean, it's a win-win here, honestly. I picked Daily Wire over Crowder.
Makes me sick to my stomach. I know that my business partner, Jeremy Boring, has made him sick to his stomach as well, because we had always considered
Maybe you guys should try taking a Tums or a Pepto-Bismol, huh?
Steven a friend. I was Steven's first lawyer. I helped negotiate his contract with Fox News, going all the way back. It's got to be at least over a decade. And Steven and I had always been very friendly. I know Jeremy was even friendlier with Steven, had counseled him in very rough times.
Who's Jeremy? The quartering? Who are they talking about?
I had personally attempted to intervene when Steven was demonetized in June 2019 on YouTube. I actually sounded off so loudly that the people at YouTube reached out to me, and Susan Wojcicki, the head of YouTube, got on the phone with me, and I reamed her out over demonetizing Steven.
Wow. Well, Ben, you made the wrong choice there, but I can respect the loyalty to your friends. But they totally, I mean, with Steven Crowder, like imitating Chinese people and all the fucking crazy things he does and making fun of, dead black people, I think that it's okay for him to get demonetized.
And I hope it made a difference. Look, I think that Steven is an incredibly talented comedian. I also think that what he is doing to my friend Jeremy Boring right now is one of the most disgusting things I have ever seen in politics. It really is one of the ugliest things I've ever seen. In order to understand what's happening, I think you have to understand a couple of things. So, for those who missed the story, basically, we offered Steven a term sheet, a non-binding term sheet. A non-binding term sheet is exactly what it sounds like. It is a list of terms for a proposed negotiation for a contract. And then negotiation happens, then you come to a final contract.
Oh, so that was just the first... That's actually funnier. I didn't realize that. So that was the first list of terms that they sent them. That wasn't even like a back and forth. Wait, so what we're saying is that Steven Crowder got sent a $50 million plus contract by the Daily Wire in the first round of negotiations, didn't respond back to it, and immediately cried like a little baby all over the internet. And instead of like being like, I counter you with this. Wow. Crowder is such a baby.
That is what a non-binding term sheet is.
Incredible.
His agent had solicited us to make him an offer. This is when he was in his closing days with the Blaze. And so we sent him over a non-binding term sheet for $50 million over the course of 4 years, with an additional 2-year option at $25 million. That is, as it sounds like, a lot of money. But we thought that Steven is worth it because Steven is, again, an incredibly talented guy with a very, very large following.
Wow.
And if you want to hear the actual terms of the term sheet, all you have to do is go to the description on this particular video or head on over to YouTube, and you can see my business partner, Jeremy Boring, read the terms word for word. Steven's original video in which he attacked us. So this week,
is that what the 40-minute video is? He just reads it word for word? That's funny. That's a good video.
This week,
I don't think we need to read that whole thing.
Steven attacked Jeremy Boring and attacked the Daily Wire and suggested that we had essentially offered him an enslavement contract that would have robbed him of all of his freedom and made him subject to the whims of big tech and all the rest of this kind of bullshit.
Oh my God.
And it's just not true.
Hey, when conservative virtue signaling goes too far, big tech, big con, slave communism. Okay.
Jeremy, unlike Steven, read the entire text of the term sheet on the air and goes through it piece by piece and explains exactly how it works.
Well, in Steven's defense, he doesn't have his lawyer to read it for him anymore, and he doesn't really know how to read. So,
and in short, all the contract says is, we are offering you this gigantic sum of money, and if you start to lose money for the company and for yourself because you lose YouTube, for example, then we both lose money, so you lose some money.
Yeah,
because
fair.
This is typically how contracts work. On this show, for example, if I lose advertisers.
Yeah, that makes sense. It actually makes it, and probably everybody is held to the same contract. It's just that Steven is more at risk for that contract because he's so provocative.
And the revenue of the show goes down. Then I lose revenue personally because the revenue of the show has gone down. So again, if you want the details, the legalistic details of all this, you can check out Jeremy's video. It is absolutely comprehensive and irrefutable because again, he reveals, I've never seen anybody else do this, he reveals literally the entirety of the what was supposed to be confidential term sheet that Steven decided to partially leak for his own benefit. And this is the part that's really ugly. Okay, so the part that's really ugly is the betrayal of friendship. So last night, Steven Crowder, in response to Jeremy reading the entire term sheet and saying somehow Steven misconstrued this and is using this to attack us and launch a website called Stop Big Con as though we are in the pocket.
Oh, is that a big thing? Crowder's launching a Stop Big Con website? Oh, then to me, this is him burning like his bridges and trying to just trying to like build his own website up. Then that's what some of this reads as. I'm sure he's like gaslit himself into thinking that he's correct, but that's what this reads as more than anything else.
Of big tech. We are in the pocket of big tech. We who have invested literally tens of millions of dollars building alternatives to big tech. We who put up people like Matt Walsh and Candace Owens and my show. We who have been attacked by Facebook and have been attacked
by Facebook. I feel like that's your biggest platform. What are you talking about?
in the legacy media all the time and who are routinely demonetized. Well, yes, nailed it. We were in the pocket of big tech. This was Steven's line of attack. And supposedly, this line of attack came from that term sheet, right? The idea was that the term sheet
I didn't think Facebook. I mean, I could see YouTube and stuff, but Facebook
was doing the work of big tech because the term sheet suggested that if he got demonetized from YouTube and we both lost money, that he would also lose money. What he apparently wanted us to do was continue to pay him extraordinary sums of money, even if the show was losing money, which is called a charity. It is not called a business. The hardest thing to do in the conservative movement or anywhere else is to, one, run a successful business, and two, make a difference. We here at Daily Wire do both things. In fact, we try to generate a profit so we can continue to make a difference. And it turns out when you lose money, you don't actually have the wherewithal or the resources in order to do things, like spend enormous quantities of money making What is a Woman by Matt Walsh, or making The Greatest Lie Ever Sold by Candace Owens, or funding the investigative reporters who shift the Virginia gubernatorial race by uncovering what happens in Loudoun County, or put out good information each and every day to rebut the evils of the Biden administration, or spend the millions of dollars it takes to sue the Biden administration to stop the OSHA vax mandate, or any of that kind of stuff. That costs money. And in order to make that money, you have to run a business. You can't run a charity for your hosts. That apparently is what Stephen wanted, but Stephen decides that this is, supposedly his story is, that he was so offended by the term sheet, he just had to speak out. He had to stand up for the little guy, right? Okay, there are a bunch of problems with this. I was willing to stay silent on all of this, generally speaking, and not get into the weeds and not get into Stephen's personal conduct until the point when he personally recorded a phone call with my best friend, Jeremy Boring, and then proceeded to release that publicly.
See, that's the thing too, is that it's interesting because recording phone calls and stuff can definitely be a really positive thing so that you can be like, listen, this is what this person said. But the problem is that sometimes, and we haven't listened to that part yet, but sometimes people can record with the intention to provoke, right? So if you ever go into those people who decide to like walk into like government buildings or whatever and like record and just stand still and be really creepy, and like technically whatever they're doing is legal, but like they're trying to be provocative, and when a cop's like, hey, can you stop doing that? They start screaming like, this is my right, blah, blah. And like it is, but the reason that you're standing there recording is because you want to start an interaction. Like if you're standing still and just recording a building from the outside or whatever, it's really weird. And it's like definitely suspicious. You know, people will do that before they rob a building because they try to like, like feel out like how many people are going in, out, blah, 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 blah. And it's like one of those things. And then they get on and then they record the police officer and be like, hey, bro, you have to leave. And he's like, oh, no, I don't. Actually, it's my legal right. Are you going to? And it's like, dude, like get something better to do with your time. You know, that's the problem. And it might have been what Crowder did. Maybe he was trying to be provocative, or maybe he was just trying to record. But like at the end of the day, you know.
That is disgusting. It is disgusting, and it is vile on a pure human level.
Why, did Jeremy show him his dick or something? What the fuck?
Jeremy, again, has gone out of his way for Stephen more times than I can count. He has counseled Stephen personally. And Stephen decided in premeditated fashion that he was going to tape his friend and then release it to grow his email.
Yeah, First Amendment auditors, a.k.a. unemployed people looking to build TikToks and YouTubes out of harassing police officers. Let's be absolutely real about what a First Amendment auditor actually is. They're just obnoxious like fucking babies.
Email list. It is that simple. And I'll show you the timeline here, because the case here is that, again, this term sheet that he got, he was so offended by it, he just had to speak up. He couldn't be held back any longer. He had to speak up on behalf of the little guy. Okay, I'm going to read you the timeline of what happened during this negotiation and when he decided to tape his supposed friend, Jeremy Boring. So here is the timeline here. October 5th, 2022 is when we sent Stephen this supposedly evil term sheet.
Ooh.
So evil. So you would imagine that if the term sheet was that evil, October 6th, he couldn't have held back. How could you guys do this? October 5th is when we sent him this term sheet offering him $50 million over 4 years plus a 2-year extension for $25 million.
Damn.
You know, basketball player type money. On November 2nd, Stephen called up Jeremy and said, I want $30 million a year and a bunch of changes to the term sheet. I'm not going to redline the term sheet. I'm not going to edit the term sheet. I just want you to send me a brand new offer.
That's lazy.
November 6th, 4 days later. Remember, this is after he's already sounded off. He's got the term sheet. He's had it for a month. November 6th was election night. You'll recall, if you're a Daily Wire fan, Stephen Crowder appeared on our election night coverage.
Yeah.
Everything was very friendly.
I don't know that because I am not dumb, but hey.
Very chummy. Everything was great. November 14th or thereabouts, we decided that we couldn't meet his demands.
Okay, so it sounds like he wanted an extra $5 million a year, and there was a bunch of things that, like, I guess he probably didn't want the whole ad revenue thing, where he would lose revenue if Daily Wire lost revenue. So they can't meet those demands. It is what it is.
His demands were not rational in business terms, that he wanted too much money, and all the rest of it. So we let him know, no hard feelings. We're still friends, just like we do in every contract negotiation. As Tim Pool said on his show last night, we've had contract negotiations with Tim, and we disagreed, and we went our separate ways, and we still like Tim. Tim still likes us, and all the rest. Okay.
That's
so November
fair.
14th or thereabouts, we told.
Also, there's a thing like when you're dealing in a contract, you can't go too high, or too low, depending on what is that you're doing. But like he went from 25 mil to 30 mil. That might have been a little too much. He might want to have asked like 27 mil, and then move there. But again, if he's not making a concession for if he loses them ad revenue, then he's obviously not going to be able to get a show.
Told Stephen that we couldn't meet his demands. Fast forward another month, December 12th, he registered the site Stop Big Con. Okay, that's when he registered it. Remember, October 5th is when he received the terms. No.
Oh, did I just get that wrong? Oh, I'm an idiot. Wow, no, I'm really so wrong. 30 a year? Oh, well, that's definitely true then. I thought it was no. Dude, I'm getting so old. They offered him 12.5 mil a year basically, and he went from that to 30 mil a year. That's crazy. That's not even like a little bit more. That's fucking bonkers. Sorry, my math was terrible. That's nuts. Like he should have went with like 15 mil a year. He went from 12.5 to 30 million. That's crazy. Why did he think he was worth that much more? There's no way. How much does he make now where he's willing to demand that much money? That's fucking bonkers, dude.
November 14th is when we said we could not meet his demands. December 12th is when he registered Stop Big Con because he knew that 3 days later he was going to be announcing that he was leaving the Blaze. He needed a plan, and attacking us was the plan. December 15th, he announced he was leaving the Blaze.
This is possible. It's also possible that Crowder's a fucking moron and gaslit himself into thinking that he's right. But this is possible. It might have been like a whole big thing.
A month after that, he texted Jeremy in friendly fashion to ask if they could talk. On January 9th, he called Jeremy and proceeded to tape him. Without permission, without Jeremy's knowledge, he proceeded to tape a person who was supposedly his friend. And remember, this is all based on the passion of the upset that he had over a term sheet that was submitted to him on October 5th.
Wow.
It is a month. It's actually 36 days after. So January 17th is when he launches Stop Big Con. So just to get this straight, just to get the timeline straight, because this is what we would call a premeditated move in an attempt to grow your email list. This means 104 days elapsed between when Steven Crowder received the term sheet that we submitted to him and when he launched Stop Big Con.
Wow.
104 days. And it means that 36 days elapsed between when he decided to attack Daily Wire and Jeremy by purchasing Stop Big Con and when he called Jeremy to tape him.
Why didn't he just do his own show like Tim Pool and not burn every bridge that exists?
So that means well over 3 months elapsed, again, between when he received this egregiously evil term sheet, which, by the way, is not egregiously evil. The term sheet is perfectly legitimate. It was the basis for further negotiation. There have been moves on both sides, but there's nothing wrong with saying to a person who produces a show, one, you have to produce a certain number of shows, and if you don't, we're not going to pay you for the shows that you don't produce. And two, if your show begins to lose money, you also lose money. This is how business works. This is how the media works. This is how capitalism works. We are not communists. We do not pay people in order to not generate.
And what's interesting though is that like it's actually I don't think that Ben is accurately representing this even in his favor, because he's not saying if you lose money the show loses money. No, he's saying if you lose advertisers or a platform then you're going to lose money. Like it's totally possible that they hire Crowder and he ended up flopping on Daily Wire and not pulling in money, but I believe he would still get paid as long as he didn't lose advertisement revenue. That's what it is. That he like if as long as he didn't like lose a whole platform or lose a sponsor. So it's not the same. He didn't even have to necessarily make them money.
Revenue. We cannot run a business and keep it functional and employ 300 people and have the money to spend on all the wonderful projects that we like to do, on the $100 million we're going to spend on kids content, on the suing of Joe Biden's
Whoa, you're trying to groom kids, man? What the fuck?
administration. We can't do any of that stuff.
And you know what Crowder could have done? He could have shot back and said like, you know what? I think I would be worth more than 15 or 12.5 mil a year. What if I also got a certain amount of money per view after a certain threshold or something, so that like I would get more money proportionate to how much I would potentially pull in. So like, let's say that he was offered 12.5 million a year, and let's say that it cost them another 5 million. Let's just round it to 7.5 million. I doubt it would cost this much, but let's just say 2.5 million. It cost him 2.5 million a year to maintain his show for him or whatever it is. And like, so that's 15 mil a year. And then he could say like everything after that 15 mil, we split, I get 10% of that or something. You know what I mean? Instead of saying, that would have been smarter.
Unless we're a profitable company.
Super chatted $2. Papa Gut Gnome Gut. Happy birthday, Mr. Gut.
Thank you. If it's not my birthday, thank you so much.
We don't pay people just for the fun of it. So that means this
Yeah, it's grooming if the left makes kids content, but if it's the right, then it's of course just helping children.
is totally premeditated. It is an attempt to grow an email list by deliberately misconstruing terms of a perfectly legitimate non-binding term sheet for a person that I personally and Jeremy, have gone out of our way to help multiple times. A person who then claims that we are the big shills for YouTube, right? We're
The contract was something like if he got strikes, he would lose 10% per year. If he was banned off Spotify and Apple, he would lose 20%. And if he lost YouTube, he would lose 25%. Okay, that's totally fine. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Those are huge platforms.
ones who are shilling for big tech. So what's his claim on that? His claim is that we're shilling for big tech by saying that if you get banned from
Being shilling for big tech. They're ice creaming for big tech, guys.
YouTube and we lose money because of that, then you also lose money. Well, I noticed that someone else makes the vast bulk of his living via the exposure he receives on YouTube, and his name is Steven Crowder. Steven has a bigger following on YouTube than I do. He has a massive following on YouTube. He's a YouTube superstar. He has 6 million followers on YouTube. He doesn't want to be banned on YouTube. By the way, he doesn't have to be demonetized in order to continue. The demonetization does not mean that he doesn't indirectly make money on YouTube. The exposure he receives on YouTube allows him to push people to Mug Club. He knows this. This is why he has a piss off YouTube segment, which is smart. Right? He does the same thing on his show that I do on my show. Exactly the same thing. You will hear me on the show when I discuss COVID. I'm about to say a bunch of things I can't say on YouTube. So head on over to Daily Wire Plus and subscribe and hear the rest of it.
Okay.
Steven does the same thing. He says, I'm going to have my piss off YouTube segment in which he avoids saying the things that will get him permanently banned on YouTube, but directs people to his site. So is he a shill for big tech? Is he a shill for big tech? Because if he were really not a shill for big tech, apparently, he would just say whatever he wants any day. He would just say it any day. And if they knock him off, they knock him off. But he's not doing that because he's not a moron. Steven's not a moron. He apparently is just a bad person who tapes his friends and then releases the tapes for personal gain.
Damn.
I'm personally insulted by Steven's behavior here. I'm more insulted. It has nothing to do with me because he hasn't actually said anything about me. It has to do with you don't get to attack my best friend and suggest that my best friend is some sort of shill for big tech when we spend every day, literally every day in this business, attempting to fight big tech and to win. When we spend every day trying to bring good content to people who can't get it in a lot of other ways and build a business, who go out of our way to make offers to people for tens of millions of dollars so they
Did Tim Pool end up talking to Crowder? Because I feel like that would be the next logical step.
can continue to promote, to provide the content that you want, tens of millions of dollars to people like Steven Crowder. I don't see a lot of other people walking across the table to make this offer to Steven Crowder. The easiest thing to do in our particular industry is to attack your friends and make money off of that. The hardest thing to do in our industry is to win at business and to win against the left, and those two things are simultaneous. Okay. Because if you lose money, you can't keep operating and fight the agenda of the left. You know, it makes me nauseous to be talking about this, honestly.
Please.
It makes me sick.
Ben, please, don't cry. You're too beautiful to cry. Please.
To be talking about this. I'm sad for Steven that he feels the necessity to plan for months, apparently, to attack his friends, to try to grow an email list in the
most Steven's going to be on Tim Pool this Monday? See, how did I know?
Cynical possible fashion and tape his friends on the phone and then release that public. Who does that? Who does that? Is that something you do? I'm going to just ask you on a personal level. Have you ever done that? Have you ever taped your friends? Is that a thing that you do?
No. If they, hopefully they don't do the same with me. That would be terrible. I would be canceled. Okay, let's see what Crowder's response is. Looking through the comments though real quick, it looks like Crowder got nay-nayed. Yeah, let's see what Crowder has to say. Look at how happy he looks. He looks like that little kid who just like shit his pants and knows that you have to clean it up. Like that's what he looks like. What's interesting though is that he tagged this as like the highlight video for his thing here. Did Crowder lose subscribers? I wonder. Bro, I wonder if this is really just one big like desperate attempt to just like can't like almost like just drag whatever he's trying to fracture or splinter the conservative side. Hey, like I guess we'll say like people always say that there's no infighting in the conservative groups. It's like a progressive group thing only, but that seems to not be the case because holy fuck, man, he is like nay-naying himself here. Look at how proud of himself he is.
They don't get deals that
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand. They can be wage slaves for a little bit. They can be wage slaves for a little bit.
Wow. I would have expected this from any left. I would have expected this from a 14-year-old communist girl that's saying that they're non-binary on TikTok. That's who this message resonates with. Like children on TikTok who have no personality. Not all non-binary people. I respect my NBs. But this is ridiculous. That's who's that's. Oh yeah, when you're a nobody, you have you don't get paid a lot. That's like saying yeah, you're not going to get paid a lot for working at McDonald's. And by the way, I do believe in a livable wage. That's a conversation to have later. But the point is that when you're a nobody, you get paid less money. Like it's a normal thing,
God bless the talk boy. Those things are worth like $5,000 now. It's an expensive gag.
Maybe you should have negotiated that in your contract.
So didn't want to have to do this, but Daily Wire outed them.
What a fucking look at the pinky. He's being fancy. Isn't it weird that like the pinky is the fanciest finger? It's literally called a pinky. You have your thumb, you have your pointer finger, your middle finger. I think your pointer is also your index. Then your ring finger. I feel like ring and pinky, they could have used better names.
The talk boy. Those things are worth like $5,000 now. It's an expensive gag.
Crazy.
So didn't want to have to do this, but Daily Wire outed themselves very, very quickly. And sure enough,
what if somebody was to make a video called Papa Gut versus the Six Paths of Pain? That would be interesting. I'll watch it. That's what I'll say.
If you see all of the people who work there, some of whom I have relationships with, they immediately tried to make this all about money. Here's the problem. There are a few problems, and I'll go through with some receipts. Everything that was said about negotiations, how they transpired, beyond a numerical value, which is true, and I'll get to, everything else is untrue. I don't really want to get into that. It's completely irrelevant. Here's why.
What do you mean? You have to get into that. How is it irrelevant?
Go back to the 20-something minute video, 30-minute video. You've never heard me say or write anywhere online that these offers weren't paying enough money. Why?
Well, he said that they were unfair. What's the unfair part then?
Because it's not about the money. It's kind of unreal to me that the only thing these people can still talk about is the money. The conversation was about conservatism, the movement, and big tech. They keep talking about money. I'm talking about a country. I'm talking about a movement. I'm talking about making a difference.
All right, let's see if he explains what he means by any of this.
It's not about the money, and Jeremy and the Daily Wire know that. How do I know they know that? Because after, according to what he said, I walked away from the offer. I did place one more call to the Daily Wire, and I made it very, very clear that it wasn't about money. That was not the topic of conversation. There was zero, as they've tried to portray this, miscommunication. It was one last call where the only thing that I asked for, my only demand, was their word, and not even for me, but for other people coming up facing these kinds of contracts.
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say some other kid you're paying six figures to come in and do it. There's not the penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Well, this is a great deal. There's no penalty of demonetization. Okay.
Yeah, sure there would be.
What does that say? Wait, I don't. What is he trying to?
And here's something else.
Wait, what does that mean? I'm not understanding. What did I miss?
But for other 500,000 people coming up facing these kinds of contracts.
Let's say it's a kid who comes in with 500,000 YouTube subscribers or something like that, 100,000. Let's say some other kid you're paying six figures to come in and do it. There's not the penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah, sure there would be.
Wait, all this says is like, let's say there's a kid with 100,000 or 500,000 subscribers and you give him a six-figure contract. There's not the penalty of demonetization if they're removed from iTunes. And he says, yeah, there is. Of course there would be a penalty. How do you think these people get paid? Imagine getting a contract. Bro, I don't understand. I honestly, this is the dumbest fucking thing in the entire world. I don't know how to. It's like we have to explain how to breathe. That's what's happening here. Literally, what he's saying is like, let's say you pulled somebody in for a six-figure contract. Do they have to actually be able to make money or show their product somewhere? Yeah, they do. iTunes, Apple, YouTube, these are the platforms that you show the content on. If you can't show the content, then you can't make money. And then why would they invest in you? Okay.
Penalty of the demonetization or if they're removed from iTunes, Apple, YouTube.
Yeah, sure there would be.
Okay. What does that say?
And here's something else. I was also
that doesn't explain anything to us about anything. You look like an idiot.
very measured I was painstakingly clear in taking myself off the table because it wasn't going to be a right fit. That happens in business all the time. But that we weren't.
Yeah, apparently you don't understand that though, because you're crying.
Weren't talking about me.
Yes,
we were
you
talking about the futures of other people who could potentially be in that position, that very disconcerting position. No miscommunication.
Okay.
What I'm talking about is you're describing a model for everyone, for everyone, not just, let's get rid of me here. Everyone, if there's a penalty for being demonetized on YouTube, because your business model requires that be a huge component of it,
yes,
you need to change your business model or this movement cannot work, Jeremy.
What? What?
I can't imagine my show trying to come up and be beholden to YouTube advertiser guidelines, let alone.
So listen, if Crowder had said like, hey, listen, because some of you guys might be like, well, yeah, YouTube will sometimes do demonetization movements and it does happen. Okay. And I understand that, but it's still the platform that you need to make money on. So again, if you lose money on the platform, then they are going to lose money. So like you lose money proportionally to them. I understand YouTube can be finicky with the way that it monetizes its stuff, but that's just the way it is. It's not going to destroy their platform either. Nobody's going to die from this. And by the way, I believe from the way that I've been interpreting this, there's a difference between having a video demonetized versus getting demonetized. There's a difference between these two things, right? There's a difference between getting a video demonetized and getting demonetized. Getting a video demonetized means you lose revenue for a video. Getting your channel demonetized means that you don't make any money on it. I'm pretty sure that there's a profound difference between the two of those things. Okay, just keep that in mind. This is ridiculous.
I mean, honestly, being beholden from a conservative entity with hard strikes, right? Being removed, but let alone being advertiser friendly. We know how broad those guidelines are. They might as well just read, don't say anything offensive, and they change them at the drop of a hat.
So what? Don't say anything offensive. Just say offensive stuff on your mug club, like talk like, be racist on your fucking website. Who cares? Like, what do you mean?
I'm not suggesting that the guidelines aren't terrible. I'm suggesting that if making money off of those platforms is part of how you're justifying the salary you're paying someone, then or the fee I keep saying salary, the fee you're paying someone, then when those go away, everybody loses money. You can't pay the same amount with less revenue.
How about
the fact that Crowder is literally like owning himself in this video suggests to me that he's actually just a fucking moron. Like he's just literally an idiot. Like I think that Crowder actually thinks that he's doing the right thing here.
How about you create a different business model?
Yeah, but you just fucking, how about we reverse gravity? How about if, you stay out of the sky and you fucking shit downwards? What are you talking about? What are you talking about? What the fuck are you talking about? How do you change your business model? What the fuck? How? You need, you need to make money. How do you change your business model? It makes the most sense to say, if you lose money, if we lose money, you lose money. Okay. I mean, there's nothing more fair than that. I don't understand.
Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Of course, telling someone else, hey, change your business model. I get it. I'm in no position.
So, here's the thing. Don't say change your business model. How about you give them a way to change their business? What way do you propose, Crowder, that they make money if they're not making money? Print money? Crowder coins, I Bitcoin service, what is it? What do you think? I don't understand.
To say that, unless
because he's not offering a solution, he's just complaining.
Instead of Monday morning quarterbacking it, here's the thing: I didn't just offer criticisms; I offered a guide on how to. Here's
let's hear it. Let's hear it.
I want to sit at the table with people who, granted, have an immense amount of power and have.
Maybe this is maybe this is his attempt to try to get to be his own Daily Wire and get other people to sign on to him. I think that's what it is. I mean, it's probably obvious for all you guys. It took me half an hour to get to that conclusion. Maybe that's what it is, because this is no way that this is resonating with people. This is probably only going to resonate to the dumbest fucking conservative content creators that are like, yeah, maybe I'll do Crowder. Yeah, maybe I'll do the Steven Crowder thing. Yeah, maybe I'll go to Kick. Apparently, that's a new streaming service instead of Twitch, because it's probably better. It's all a gambling site. Yeah, but still.
Incredibly deep pockets. That is all true, to be clear. And by the way, it's something that I want to have on our side of the aisle. But I offered a guide on how to do it. It is incumbent, this is what this is about. It is incumbent upon conservatives, if we believe what we say, to uncouple, to divest, if you want to use that term, from big tech. Right? For the business models of the movement as we move forward, to not rely on playing ball with Facebook and with YouTube. That is something that we have to move toward. You know that we've been trying to do that here for years. That's why every single
Daily Wire already does that. There's a subscription service on Daily Wire. Usually, like, Daily Wire uses other platforms to promote its service to get people to go there. But they also understand that not everybody's going to buy in. So they have to maintain a good audience on all the other platforms as an advertiser and also as a money generator to get them to go there. They're already doing this business model. What are you talking about?
single show, we say, hey, if you can watch on Rumble, please do so. We're not looking to be banned on YouTube, but at least we certainly won't compromise the truth in order to be advertiser friendly. Here's the thing, Daily Wire.
Here, like Ben said, he already does this.
Jeremy, and I
He'll direct people to Mug Club. What is he talking about?
really do hope that we can talk at some point. Please, you can pick up the phone.
Yeah, please.
We've done that.
I wouldn't talk to you ever again. You're recording the conversation. You're a scumbag.
We here have found a way to make that work. For proof, see election night, our numbers on Rumble there, and see the numbers on Rumble when we get suspended from YouTube. I think it was 4 times this last year. And I went to great lengths to communicate that to the people at Daily Wire.
What does that matter?
There can be no next me if the people at the top with the financial resources are doing the bidding. That's being the arm of big tech. What you just said is, well, we have to play ball with big tech if we want to make money. Well,
there's a level of truth to that. So, like, not for nothing, and I'm not trying to jerk off conservatives, but when you have a lot of young progressives that talk about how broken the system is, oftentimes those progressives are like a bunch of little kids that like spend their day on TikTok and don't do anything real. And I've said it 100 times before. You're not going to be able to be effectively call out the system unless you play in the system. Nobody cares about the 15-year-old boy crying communism on TikTok. They will care about the 40-year-old man who's working 60 hours a week and who's destroying his body, though, right? You need to play by the system to an extent to change the system slowly and progressively. So by that logic, that's what they're doing. They're utilizing the big tech platforms to direct people to their private site, right, to try to make money and to try to change the public narrative. Whether you agree with what they're doing or not, it's irrelevant. The fact is that they're doing that step. They're living by that brand of saying, we don't like big tech, we're calling it out, we're redirecting you to here. But you still have to live within the system or else your message dies. If they become too provocative, Ben Shapiro loses all 4 million or whatever followers she has. There's no effectiveness. So they're playing within the system. Like, this is normal. Like, people, like adults understand this very well, Stephen.
Well, I don't. Why don't you guys follow a model like I have and scale it? That's what I've been doing since 2014.
That's what they are doing. The model is try to pull people onto Mug Club. They pull people onto Daily Wire. There's exclusive content on there. I don't understand what he's talking about. I think that Crowder just thinks too much of who the fuck he is. And I understand he's successful, but he's so arrogant in his success.
That has been trying to make sure, which I thought we were all doing, that we can all flip the bird to Silicon Valley.
Oh, this all comes off as so performative because he knows he's recording. I think that this is a huge performance and like a fucking huge virtue signal.
This is saying we need him and you need to play ball.
And by the way, before some of you ask this, look, there's always personal information on phone calls. And for the record, I've recorded 3 people on phone calls in my life.
Why?
All 3 are involved with big tech.
I mean, everybody's involved with big tech. I don't know what you want me to tell you.
Just to be clear, the entire call transcript has been sent to others to verify without hopefully having to release the whole thing. And I'll be on Tim Pool's show, I believe, on Monday to talk about it. Now, this is something else that's been brought to my attention that, look, some people have been sent out from Daily Wire and have gotten very personal. Obviously, when we released this video, we didn't name names, and I told you there are a lot of people in the space who have made offers, and it is true. There are quite a few, and there are some others that have been pretty similar to this. This isn't an incredibly unique scenario, but there have been some good people out there too, and we're still talking with them. So I do know that some people from Daily Wire have come out, maybe been instructed. So I have no idea. I don't care. And they've gotten very personal. I don't want to do that. At least I didn't want to.
They've been instructed to do so, guys. It's not that they feel genuinely about it. They've been instructed to do so. That's what he's trying to tell you, but without telling you.
But now it's sort of necessary for me to do so. These are the only personal things I will say about the people at Daily Wire. Andrew Klavan is one of my favorite people of all time.
I don't know who that is.
He has an unbelievable skill to make you feel like the smartest guy in the room, even though I guarantee you he's smarter than you. There are
Well, Andrew, I mean, excuse me, Steven. Clearly, he's done too good of a job at that because you actually think that you know what the fuck you're doing.
Very few people whose company I enjoy more than Andrew Klavan. Jordan Peterson is not only a friend, I would go to the wall for him. He's a guy who has changed the landscape of our country for the better. Can't say enough good things about him. Ben Shapiro is possibly the smartest person I know. That's as personal as I'll get. Now, here's the thing. Only after that final call, after negotiations had fallen through, pleading on the side of principle and knowing that it was completely met with deaf ears, did I come out like I did. See, here's the thing. Daily, they keep talking about a business.
Yes.
Well, I walked away from the table because I'm talking like it's about a country, about a movement. And this is the thing. The response that I've heard over the years is not just now. I've been doing this for a long time. You constantly hear, it's just business. It's just business.
I just don't know what to say anymore. This is Crowder cares about the money because what you have to understand is he keeps saying it's not about the money. It's about big tech. Crowder doesn't want to lose money if he pisses off big tech. That's what he wants to do. He wants to be more provocative on his show or on the Daily Wire than his own show. He's willing to burn Daily Wire's revenue, like ability to generate revenue. I understand that, like, it's a good thing that Daily Wire didn't get him because you have to understand I would imagine if Crowder gets banned, that could look bad for their whole company, and they could start like looking more closely at them. This is probably really good for Daily Wire.
Well, guess what? It's not to me. Sure, I run a business, but it's not just business. And let me ask you, when have you ever heard someone say it's just business when they're doing the right thing? Ever hear someone give $250,000 to charity and say it's just business? And here's something that
I'm sure that happens. Sure.
like to ask you, because I know that they've tried to.
Usually, when somebody does say it's just business, it's usually something that's like lacking a lot of emotion. So I understand that. But like in the context of what we're talking about here, we don't need to talk about the fundamentals. They're talking about paying you less if you make them less money because you get banned off of a platform. It's not that deep. It's not that serious. It is business at this point.
Play the identity.
You can say whatever you want, Steven, as long as you don't get banned. That's really fair. So
Politics and, misrepresent the whole financial situation. But yeah, over the course of 4 or 5 years, the total operational budget, meaning 25, 30 employees, all of the costs, security, health insurance, would have been somewhere in the $50 million ballpark. Is all. But yeah, over the course of identity politics and, misrepresent the whole financial situation. But yeah, over the course of 4 or 5 years, the total operational budget, meaning 25, 30 employees, all of the costs, security, health insurance, would have been somewhere in the $50 million ballpark for that total operational budget. That is true.
okay, so I'm going to assume that he's including himself getting paid in there, and he's trying to make it seem like that would only pay for what is it called, the overhead. Oh, that would have paid for everything except for me. That's what it sounds like he's trying to make it seem like he's saying to us. I think that's what his goal is, to be like, yeah, it would cost us 50 mil just to keep the show running as is. But he's not telling you he's part of what it takes to keep the show running. That's part of him. That's part of his brand. So they actually, what he's telling me is they offered him the exact amount he was worth. That's what they're telling me here. That's what he's telling me. They offered him exactly what he was worth. But he wants you to think that it would just be the production cost of the show without him getting paid. But I guarantee you there's no way that it's going to cost $12 million per year, $12.5 million a year to keep everything going without him being part of what's getting paid. You know what I mean?
Okay. First off, I think it's a good thing
could be wrong.
For conservative companies out there to be generating or capable of generating far more than that. It'd be better than just Disney and just Netflix and just Hulu Plus. And I'd like the people who are in charge of that to be people who are willing to walk away from that if it comes with strings attached, with people who hate everything you stand for. So let's take that at face value, okay? I want you to ask yourself this question, okay?
Sure.
Put yourself in my shoes.
What's 300 employees? Like how much? I don't know. Let's just keep
What
going.
would it take? How much do your principles matter to you? What kind of a headspace would you have to be in to walk away full stop from $50 million? Let me ask you even further. What would it take for you to be willing to walk away from at least $50 million because of it causing harm to someone else that doesn't even affect you?
What are you talking about?
But the next kid. I've talked about this, you have it in comedy. I'm never going to be the guy who pulls the ladder up after me. What motivates me
What?
is not money. Of course, everyone here likes nice things. They want to make a living.
Did he say 30? I'm sorry, 30 employees. My bad. Why did I say 300? I have fucking...
You've heard me say this many times. I want to pass the torch.
Sorry.
I want there to be someone else to do this. It can't happen if this is how our movement is structured.
So that would cost, like, let's say he paid them each $100,000 a year for all 20, like 30 of those people. If there are 30, that's $3 million a year. So $3 million, it's the 12 and a half. Like, he obviously has other costs. So let's just say it costs $3.5 million for him to run his show every year. So then he's making $9 million off of the show himself. I wouldn't doubt that. Even if he pays them a little more, he's still making at least half of that 12.5 million is on him. So I don't know why I said 300. I'm like, I literally do not know numbers. Anytime I say a number, always go, Papa God. Wait like 5 minutes for me to explain. Oh yeah, the real expense is his Adderall addiction. He eats a lot of pills. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah. The white man's burden is taking Adderall. Okay.
And you know that, by the way, this could do irreparable damage to the movement, the country, and the people who fought so hard for the ground gained if we've decided to...
You're right, guys. 1776. We gotta go. This means war. It's 1776. We gotta storm the Capitol. We gotta go after them. They're raping babies in Pizza Hut. In Domino's. That's why Pizza Hut's falling. Pizza Hut's better. Buy my supplements. Inject it right into your ball sack. We gotta fight Big Pharma. You gotta buy my pills, Big Cums. Make your balls huge. Fight against those other people.
Did I do it right? Was that a decent Alex Jones? I have a legitimate headache after that. Was that a good Kermit the Frog version? I have a really bad headache and my throat hurts. Wow.
Get in bed with these people who want to strip it away. I'm asking, would you walk away? No. What would it take for you to walk away?
Not being able to say what I wanted within like reason. Like, as long as I could promote my overall message. If somebody came to me and said, like, let's say this. If somebody came to me and said, like, we're going to pay you $1 million a year, but you can't say curse words anymore, I would say, okay. I think I could do that. I won't say, I'd say frick instead of fuck or something. Oh, snickerdoodles. You know? Because I could still promote my overall message. But that's all they're asking you to do. That's all they're asking you to do.
It was supplement. We took the gay out of the frogs. We squeezed their ass juices into a pill form.
You know, people take poo pills. They take the pills of other people's poo, but their poo is healthy, so it goes into their digestive system and something like that, and it helps their digestive tract. Isn't that disgusting? That also might be misinformation. I'm about as credible as Alex Jones right now. Let me look into that.
$50 million, because it's true. That's exactly what I did. It's exactly what I'm doing. And so long as...
Pill derived from human feces treats recurrent gut infections. I was right. So if you take that pill, you won't have a problem with me anymore.
as these contracts out there include enforcement of big tech, of punishing conservative creators on behalf of the people we claim to fight and the people who have long since demonetized us and can't stand me, and part of me doesn't blame them. As long as these contracts include that, not even for me, but the next...
Here's the thing. I think that... Okay. So I'm starting to agree with Steven Crowder. Check this out. But the problem is he doesn't have like a really nice like background song. So let's give him a nice background song while he sucks.
Person, I wouldn't take $1 billion. And certainly not if you understand in context, when behind closed doors, I know, and these people know, and acknowledge exactly what's being done to the next generation of creators.
To the flag.
Bench talent, young talent, they don't get deals like this.
So they don't get deals.
Okay, I have to actually listen to this part. Sorry.
Creators.
Bench talent, young talent, they don't get deals like this.
So
of course, they're benched young talent that like aren't as built.
They don't get deals that
They can be wage slaves for a little bit, come over and make a salary and grow their brand.
Yeah, that's perfectly reasonable.
that you then own.
Well, I own parts of it. I don't own it. They can, when their contract's up, they can still go out and they'll still be famous. They can keep doing their shows. They'll go do a show somewhere else.
Yeah,
They'll be in a far, far, far better place. You helped make them.
yeah, this is perfectly reasonable. They might maintain the name of the show. So, like, if Brent Cooper walked away and her show's name is the Brent Cooper Show, she may not be able to call it the Brent Cooper Show. She'd have to call it the Brent Cooper Gang Balls or something. That would be pretty much all it is.
No, not long as this contract. This contract owns it in perpetuity even after the contract. You're paying a lease but getting ownership. That's what this contract reads.
On the content that we paid to produce, yes.
Listen, I don't know the specifics of what they do and don't own if Crowder decides to walk away. Do they own the name Louder with Crowder? If not, I don't care. Like and either way, I don't care. You could just not do the contract. If they ask too much, your counter to $12.5 million a year was $30 million a year. When you could have countered 12.5 with like $15 million and saying I still maintain ownership of X, Y, and Z. But if they're paying you to make particular content, they own that content. What do you want me to tell you?
Look, I understand there are going to be differing opinions on this. I understand that. As someone who does run a business and has maybe 25 employees, I don't know, we're expanding. I understand people run businesses differently and have different priorities. Here's the thing. I would genuinely still, Daily Wire, Jeremy, love to sit down at the table and explain to you how you can make all of this work, how you can scale what we do and not have to be beholden to the people who we all go out and claim that we're fighting, and especially with all of the financial resources that you have, which, by the way, are very impressive. And by the way, since fielding requests for people who sent this in you guys are under these kinds of contracts, right? You've sent in your emails. If you're looking to either join a network or looking to navigate these contracts, we've been flooded. I'm going to try and get to all of you. But here's the thing. Let me give you my word right now. My word. Everyone, you can timestamp it, call me on it. Here at Mug Club, we will never take any ownership over your social media platforms or your channels, and I don't want a dime ever of your YouTube revenue. You make...
Well, then what's the point of like hiring them? What do you get out of hiring them? I don't understand. Like, what are they? They're not even working with you. Are they working with a Mug Club? You're just trying to use it as a way to promote Mug Club. They're basically just a glorified sponsor at that point. He's an idiot.
Make your own decision as to whether you want to be monetized or not. Some people want to, some people don't. I just have a problem with requiring that you do and penalizing you if you don't. And to Daily Wire, to the rest of the people out there, give me a call. And
fucking look, whatever your name is. Hurry up, this is boring.
If you give me your word, this is all that matters here. Just give me your word that there will never be a clause in a contract again for some unsuspecting kid or someone who doesn't have...
Why would they ever promise you this? You're a fucking, you're Steven Crowder, but you're a fucking nobody. Like, who gives a shit? This is stupid.
...the luxury to walk away from $50 million, as I did, true, guilty as charged. Give me your word that you will not...
I think that maybe the part of the whole thing is that Steven Crowder got to walk away with $50 million. He's like, yeah, I walked away from $50 million. I'm better than you.
Penalize them 25% for demonetization, another 20% for a strike, another 20% for Facebook, Spotify app.
I doubt that you're going to get 20% just for a strike. I don't know. Who cares? At this point, I just don't give a shit.
Well, up to 80%.
You could have just said no and walked away respectfully.
Just give me your word that clause, that spirit will not be in any contract sent out.
Santa Claus with Tim Allen. That's what he's talking about.
To anyone else who's at the front lines fighting for this country.
Santa Claus is. I think that's the name of the show. I watched it with my wife.
And we're done.
Yeah.
All of this stops right now. You will never hear from me again. I will go out and sing your praises. You can pick up the phone. You have my word. That's all it is. That's all this is about. In the interim, to everyone else,
wow.
StopBigCon.com. Be a signatory. I'll see you Monday. Tim Pool.
Wow. That was a hard watch. Yeah, so nobody's agreeing with them. Dude, at this point, you've had issues with Rogan, Tim Pool, Blaze, and now Daily Wire. I'm starting to think it's not them. Damn. Yeah, well, yeah. I guess they'll double down. All right, whatever. Hey, it is what it is. We don't lose anything here, guys.
I want Papa Gut to pee on my face, but just as a friend. There's nothing weird about that. I want him to pee on my face.